In August of 1914, when Britain declared war on Germany, Canada, like all other dominions of the British Empire, was automatically drawn into the conflict. Of the more than 620,000 troops who served in the Canadian Expeditionary Force, thousands were Indigenous young men who volunteered to fight despite being denied many basic rights at home. Among them was Francis Pegahmagabow, who went on to become the most effective sniper of the First World War. He was born on March 9, 1891, on what is now the Shawanaga First Nation, near Nobel, Ontario, Canada. His father died when he was an infant, and his mother passed away not long after, leaving him to be raised by an adoptive family. He was a member of the Parry Island Band, which is now the Wissahickon First Nation, and was a proud descendant of the Ojibwa. As a teenager, he worked in lumber camps, and later as a marine fireman aboard freighters on the Great Lakes. When the First World War began, many Indigenous people in Canada were initially discouraged from enlisting, and in some cases even turned away. Nevertheless, Pegahmagabow was among the earliest volunteers from the Parry Sound district, joining the local militia, the 23rd Northern Pioneers, which was later absorbed into the 1st Battalion of the Canadian Expeditionary Force. By early 1915, he was serving on the Western Front in Belgium, where he took part in the Second Battle of Ypres, in which the Germans would launch the first major gas attack of the war. He was next sent to fight in two more brutal engagements in northern France, the Battle of Festubert and the Second Action of Givenchy. In both, Canadian troops were ordered to launch frontal assaults against heavily fortified German positions, which proved to be extremely costly. During these testing months, Pegahmagabow displayed an unusual mix of calm, marksmanship, and initiative, and he was soon employed as a scout, runner, and battalion sniper, often venturing into no man's land to gather intelligence and to relay vital messages under fire. His courage and skill quickly earned him the respect of his superiors, and on August 26, 1915, he was promoted to the rank of Lance Corporal. In March of 1916, he was recommended for the Distinguished Conduct Medal, with his citation noting his prior bravery, though he would ultimately not receive it, and was instead awarded the Military Medal, being among the first 78 Canadian soldiers to earn this honour. In the same year, he would fight at the Battle of Mount Sorrel, where he helped to capture a significant number of German prisoners. Later, during the Battle of the Somme, he was shot in the left leg, which left him out of action until mid-1917. Upon returning, Pegahmagabow next fought at Passchendaele, where he trudged through the deep mud and braved heavy enemy machine gun fire to maintain communications and help guide units into position. For his courage throughout the engagement, he received the first bar to his military medal. Shortly after the battle, he contracted pneumonia and was hospitalized in England until the spring of 1918. On the 30th of August 1918, during the Battle of Scarpe, his unit was running out of ammunition and was in danger of being overrun near Oryx Trench by Upton Wood. In response, Pegahmagabow crossed open ground under heavy machine gun and rifle fire to bring back enough ammunition to repel multiple German counterattacks. For this incredible act of bravery, he was awarded a second bar to his military medal. After more than 3 years of frontline service in some of the war's deadliest battles, Pegahmagabow began to suffer and faced numerous disciplinary issues. And by early November of 1918, he was sent to England, suffering from what was then diagnosed as exhaustion psychosis. By the time of his discharge in early 1919, Pegahmagabow was recognised as Canada's most decorated Indigenous soldier, credited with 378 confirmed sniper kills and the capture of more than 300 prisoners. In addition to his military medal with 2 bars, he also received the 1914-15 Star, the British War Medal, and the Victory Medal. Upon returning home to Canada, he dedicated much of the rest of his life to advocating for Indigenous rights, both in his personal life and during his 2 terms as chief of the Parry Island Band. He married and raised 6 children, while continuing his connection to the military by joining the local militia, the 23rd Pioneers, where he served with distinction as Company Sergeant Major from 1930 to 1936. Francis Pegahmagabow died on the 5th of August 1952, at the age of 61. He was buried on the Wasauksing First Nation, close to where he was born.